Hello, it's Tom Donald from the London Contemporary School of Piano. Today, I'm going to show you how to improvise in different scales. And improvisation is one of the most irresistible ways to practice your scales. Now, before we get started, if you are a fan of our work at the London Contemporary School of Piano, you should visit our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com, and claim your free resources kit, which accompany many of these videos. So let's get started. We're going to be a bit creative here right now, and I'm feeling extremely creative because it's evening time. I'm sitting here at the Blüthner Piano Factory here in Leipzig, Germany. It's just quite a scene to be here, and I'm sitting on a very unusual contemporary model that Blüthner piano that has been built with lights in it, and it's just this beautiful piano. I thought I'd do a few tutorials on this piano because I wanted just to play on something a little bit different. I really love innovation, and I'm a contemporary musician as well as a classical musician, so I love combining the past and the future and the present, and yeah, this is just going to be a lot of fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to be creative with different scales. So let's choose a scale out for size and let's start improvising on it. So I'm just going to choose a D major scale. Now, rather than me playing this D major scale in a transactional way, like it's a piano exam or something, ugh, how boring. Who wants to listen to music that sounds like that anyway? I want to get some beauty. I want to bring out the beautiful golden tones in this piano. So I just want to play around with the notes in a D major scale and just move them around. And just respond to that. I can even lift my hand and adjust my fingering, put my fingers in different positions. I don't have to follow the exact formalized fingering of the scale. I'm going to do the same thing with my left hand now. Just exploring the scale across different registers on the piano. You can really start to DIY your own music that way. So here's a little trick. I'm now going to have a conversation with both of my hands, with my right hand and my left hand. My right hand's going to say a little, and then my left hand's going to say a little. We'll see how it goes. Whoops! Did you hear what happened there? I accidentally played a note outside the scale. So in this exercise, I'm very much sticking to the scale. I'm trying not to violate the scale. But you heard I did there. I just got into a nice improvisational flow and then that didn't quite work. I could have made it work maybe. I could have just find a chord or something to rescue it. And in fact, actually one of the key rules of improvisation, and perhaps I should take my own advice, is to not stop even when things go wrong. But that's how it works. We're all human. We all make mistakes. And I'm not going to edit these mistakes out because I want to show you that these things happen to us all. It happens to me all the time. And while we're on that topic, I've recently recorded an album where I play and improvise in every single major and minor scale. I've called the album My Tempered Clavier. You can check out the album on Spotify and Apple Music if you'd like to have a listen to it, and I'd appreciate your support. So anyway, let's go back to this conversation between the left and right hand. And other than the bum note I played there, all of those notes were just sitting cozily in the safe space of D major, all feeling very contained. And I was just using a little sequence, a little phrase of just a couple of notes, just a handful of notes. So now I might try something a bit different. I might just pick 3 notes in the left hand now. Any 3 notes from that D major scale. And now I'm going to create a melody in the right hand against those pulsating 3 notes in the left hand. And I can change those 3 notes in the left hand as well. Experimenting with different combinations. It's a nice way to play around with different musical ideas and setting. So let's move into another scale. I'm just going to pick another major scale. What about B flat major? This is such a great way to practice your scales because you're giving it a creative musical application. You're giving it real context. But again, we just start by playing the scale nice and slowly in 1 octave just to get the feel of it. Now I'm going to start just mixing the notes around in the scale again, using those same techniques, and every scale feels a bit different from each other because of the miracles of our tuning system. So I'm here sitting at the Blüthner Piano Factory in Leipzig. This is the same town that J.S. Bach was composing his Well-Tempered Clavier to, where he was composing all of his preludes and fugues in the book that's become almost the Bible of classical music, of all of the major and minor keys. I mean, there was such an exciting time in that period of time in Western musical tradition, because our scale system was all emerging within the temperament, the tuning system, the equal temperament tuning system. And all of this history means that we have this instrument today that we're sitting at. I might be sitting at a spanking brand new grand piano that's custom made, but it's built on that history of scales and the equal temperament tuning system. And when Bach was in the action, when that was all happening, here in this very part of the world, all those years ago, back in 1722, where he was composing his Well-Tempered Clavier, Books 1 and then later Book 2, and when that was all happening, he was in the action as that was all occurring. The piano hadn't even been invented yet. Can you believe it? It was all happening on a harpsichord. So it's an incredible story. So now I've got my feel of that B flat major scale. I'm going to, let's do the same exercise where I just grab 3 notes from the left hand. Any 3 notes. I don't have to think about what chord it is. I'm just going to grab any 3 notes from that scale and just move it around. And I'm deliberately avoiding starting on a B flat bass. I'm sort of pivoting away from that to give it a feeling of unresolved. So I'm inside the comfortable realms of that scale, but I'm not resolving to to the B flat. And I'm just going to make up a melody in the B flat major scale with short little phrases. Sometimes you can just play around with two notes, and if there's two notes you feel that sound good as you're improvising out these ideas, just play around with those notes. I've recently recorded an album in a beautiful concert hall in Latvia, in the Baltics, in a town called Liepāja at the Great Amber Hall, where I improvise in every major and minor key. And you can listen to the album. I've called it My Tempered Clavier. It's available on Apple Music and Spotify and all of the platforms where you can check it out if you're interested. And I'm doing these sorts of things on that album. Let me change some of the notes in the left hand. Again, all of these notes are consistent to the B-flat major scale. I just create little phrases in the right hand. Go back to my first chord here, I had in the left hand. This is such a great way to practice your scales. Regardless of the level you're at, think of the scale like juice or like an orange. Think of it like an orange, and you're squeezing all the juice you can get out of that orange. And sometimes it's not just about the notes that you play, it's about how you play them, the intention that you breathe into those notes. The touch, I could play it in a more percussive way. I could play it in a more lyrical way, just caressing that note. Same note, totally different intention. I often think piano students think too much about notes and playing the right notes. But you can play a note in so many different ways. In the right hand, I'm just playing one note there. You can hear all the different intonations I'm giving that note. Just added a second note to that note. I'm even mixing them together. So much you could just do with one note, hey? I mean, how often do you sit on the piano and explore the sounds that a piano can make? You can explore the different textures. See, I just went on a total textures tangent there. I just forgot I was playing a scale. Oh, that B flat. What can I do with it? How often do you explore the sounds on your piano? How often do you actually do that? Because sometimes that's more important than playing music. Well, it's way more important than playing music in a transactional way. You don't want to play music in a transactional way. Even if you're newer to this journey or you feel your foundations aren't quite there, if you're just playing in a transactional way, you will just sound transactional, uninspired. And you don't want to. You want to bring and breathe life into your playing, even if it's the most simple thing you're doing. How beautiful can you make that sound? So let's choose a beautiful scale. Oh, there's so many beautiful scales. Where do I begin? Well, I've just been in B flat major. Why don't I make it a B flat minor? But I'm going to make it a natural minor scale, not a harmonic minor scale, which just means I'm going to have an A flat instead of an A natural. And I get this. It's the relative minor to D flat major, which means it has exactly the same notes as the natural minor. A D flat major, a B flat minor, all of the black keys plus C and F. Very easy to remember in that sense. So it's a nice shape, and I'll have my thumb landing on the two white keys of that scale. So I'm just going to mix those notes around now. At a reasonable tempo, just for something a bit different. I can bring my left hand into it, playing different notes, but from the same scale. What a fun way to practice your scales, right? See what you can get out of the scale. I can play around with the rhythm a bit. Play a bunch of fast notes with both of my hands. My hands quite close together. B flat minor, B flat natural minor. It's all the black keys plus C and F, so the mechanics of it may be not so difficult to remember. C and F plus all of the black notes. Play a fast bunch of notes. Not too fast, but... and leave a gap. And see if I can create some asymmetry, some asymmetrical sort of phrases that are not so even now, that are a little bit bumpy and... but all within that scale, with silences in between. So I have an album where I'm doing stuff like this, which you can check out on Spotify and Apple Music. It's where I play and improvise in all major and minor scales. You can check out the album. It's called My Well-Tempered Clavier. But in the meantime, just play along with me here. And we'll see what happens. Just be present in the moment. Don't think about the past. Don't think about the future. Just be in the now. That's the key with improvisation. I'm sort of stuck in this scale. I can't find my way out. I don't know how this is going to end. I don't just want to stop because it might just not make sense to. It feels like there's still music to be made here. But inevitably, what goes up must come down, and what starts must eventually end. I'll see you soon.